Hi, this is Mr. Wolfson, and in this video I'm going to show you all of the steps that you need to do to make sure that your counselor and teacher recommendations and your transcript are sent to the colleges that you're going to be applying to this year. So the first thing you have to do is turn in your counselor recommendation and transcript request form, and that's what you see on this screen. This form is available in the guidance office in hard copy. It's also available in the document library in Naviance and on the high school website. You need to turn this form in along with a handful of other items: your final activity resume, your copy of your essay, and that can just be a draft of your college application essay. You need to complete your junior questionnaire in Naviance, and that helps your counselor write your recommendation. And there's also a $5 transcript request fee, and that's a one-time fee for no matter how many colleges you're applying to. Now, all of those items need to be turned in by these deadlines over here, depending on when your earliest college application is. You want to make sure that even if the specific deadline is not listed, you give us at least 4 school weeks before any other deadline to make sure that we have enough time to get your recommendations written and your transcripts processed and sent out. Underneath that area, you're also going to see some additional steps that you have to do to make sure that your transcripts or recommendations are sent through Naviance. Most of these things are steps that you're going to take in Naviance. There are some that are not in Naviance. For instance, the first one is complete the FERPA release authorization in the Common App. That's part of your Common Application account. And there's a great video on how you can do that. That's listed right on the form when you look at it, so definitely refer to that. The rest of the steps that are listed here are all things that you're going to be doing in Naviance. So we're going to shift over and show you the Naviance screen and how to do all of these steps. So once you've logged into Naviance, the next step is to add the colleges that you're applying to your colleges you're applying to list. You can find that in the Colleges tab. And there are 2 different ways that you can do that. First is if you've already listed some colleges in your Colleges I'm Thinking About list, you can shift them over directly from Colleges I'm Thinking About by checking off the boxes for the schools that you're definitely going to be applying to and then moving them to your application list. When you do that, you're going to want to make sure that you identify if you're applying early decision or early action. You also want to make sure that if it's regular decision, you leave that there, or if it's rolling decision, you can put that in as well. Then you'll click Add Applications. Once that's done, those colleges are moved from your Colleges I'm Thinking About list to your Colleges I'm Applying to list. And now they appear there. And you scroll down and you can see that that's where they're listed now. You can also add to this list by clicking this link right here, Add to this list. And then you can identify specific colleges if they weren't initially on your Colleges I'm Thinking About list. You can click Look Up, and you can just start typing the name of the college in the box, and you can even just start with a couple of letters. And any college that has that string of letters or that word that you type in will show up. Click on that. Again, you're going to identify if you're applying early action, early decision, regular. Scroll down to the bottom and then click Add Colleges. And then that's what will show up on your list. Now on the screen you're also going to see the deadlines for the colleges that you're applying to, and you may notice for American University it was selected as early action, but no deadline is showing up. It's entirely possible that means that American University does not have an early action deadline. You want to make sure that you're putting in the type of application, early action, regular decision, properly. If you feel like you've made a mistake, you can click on the little pencil under Edit, and that'll bring you back to the list of colleges that you've added, and here's where you can change the application type. So if you actually meant to do regular decision, here there's a deadline that shows up. You can see that right in there. Scroll all the way down to the bottom, click Update Applications, and then that'll update your list so that it's more accurate. Now once you've added the colleges that you're applying to, you're going to scroll up on this screen and match your Common App account with your Naviance account. Now you've already completed the FERPA release authorization in the Common Application. Now all you have to do is add in your Common Application email address, the email address that you used to create your account. Your date of birth is very likely going to populate straight out of Naviance, but if it doesn't, make sure you put it into that format. And then you'll click Match. That's what allows your counselor to send your transcript and recommendations to any Common Application schools. The next thing you'll need to do is actually identify for Common Application schools whether or not you're actually applying using the Common Application. There are a lot of Common App schools that maybe have their own internal applications, may be able to use some other kind of application other than the Common App. Beloit College here, you can see, actually is a Common App exclusive college, which means the only way you can apply is using the Common Application. But American University, Binghamton University, there's something that says unknown right there. If you click on that, This will give you the opportunity to tell us whether or not you're actually using the Common Application. So let's say you are for American University or you are not for Binghamton University. It's very important to update that information because that will tell your counselor whether or not we can still send your transcripts through Naviance or not. Now, if you see Binghamton, you're not using the Common Application, the icon still remains the same. That means that Binghamton University, we're going to need to mail your transcript and recommendations. It's very important for your teachers to be aware of that. If Binghamton was going to accept a electronic version of your transcript and recommendations, there would be a line that goes through the Common App icon right there. So remember, if you see a line through the Common App icon, we can still send electronically, but if you're not applying through Common App and it still shows up exactly the same way as that icon, that means your teacher and your counselor is going to have to mail your transcript and recommendations. You'll need to give your teachers a stamped and addressed envelope for the college in particular for that recommendation. Now, you may not do this next step at exactly the same time that you're doing some of these other steps, but you certainly could. At the bottom of the Colleges I'm Applying To screen, there's a place where you can add in your teacher recommendation requests. Now, after you've spoken to teachers in person to ask for their requests, you may have done that in the spring of junior year, but please make sure you touch base with them again in person this fall. You're going to go into Naviance and click on Add or Cancel Requests, and you'll be able to select the teachers that are writing your recommendations. So let's say that Mr. Belbin is one of the teachers writing your recommendation. You could write a personal note. Thank you for writing my recommendation. At the bottom, you'll click Update Recommendations, and Mr. Belbin will get an email from you telling him that you have officially asked for his recommendation through Naviance. This helps him stay organized and knowing when your deadlines are also. But again, please make sure that this is not the first step. This should be after you've talked with Mr. Belbin or whoever your teachers are who are writing your recommendations. Now, the last step before your transcripts and recommendations are sent is you need to indicate to us that you have actually applied to the college. We don't send transcripts or recommendations unless we know for a fact that you've applied to the college. And the way that you're going to identify that is by clicking on this link, Have You Applied? This is going to bring up a list of all the colleges that are on your list. It's not one by one. You can scroll down and see all the colleges are going to show up. But for the schools that you've applied to, you're going to go to that area and check the box next to I have submitted my application. You can do this one school at a time. You can do this all 4 schools at a time. Scroll down and click Update Applications. And then going back to your list, you'll see that for American University, you've identified that your application has been submitted. Now, every day in the fall, we run a list of all of the schools where applications have been submitted. Your name would come up on that list, and that's how we would know it's time to send out all of your documents. Now, it's entirely possible that you're going to have submitted your applications before your counselor or your teacher has finished writing your recommendations, but we do make a commitment to making sure that everything gets out by your deadlines, as long as you're also meeting the deadlines that are stated on the counselor recommendation and transcript request form. Keeping in mind, we're looking for 4 school weeks of advanced notice to make sure that we are prepared to get your recommendations written and get everything prepared to send out to colleges. There are specific dates that are listed. So for instance, if you have a November 1st application deadline for early action or early decision, you need to have the form in our notification by October 1st to make sure that we get everything out on time. But we will definitely make sure that everything is sent as long as you followed all of these steps that we've shown in this video that are also listed on the counselor recommendation and transcript request form. If you have any questions, you can always come in and check in with your counselor. We are happy to help you all along the way.